Let's talk to a future stud on the Miami Hurricanes defense.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen each and every day. You guys know how much we love to talk recruiting on this show, and when we can have the recruits on, even better. This young man is a Miami Hurricanes commit. As you can see, because he's repping the gear right now. He's in the airport repping the gear. Isaiah Thomas, Clearwater Academy International, safety star backer. Isaiah, thank you for repping the U. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It looks like you're ready to fly. You got the head pillow on and everything. You're good to go.
Yeah, I have a long layover right now. I'm in Washington.
Oh, man. Well, listen, safe travels. I know Isaiah's traveling back home to Canada. And, of course, Clearwater Academy International has been a hub for Canadians. And on that note, Isaiah, I don't know how much of a connection you have. I'm guessing there's probably some connection with Akeem Mesidor, who's on Miami's roster. He's from Canada.
Right.
He's also a Clearwater Academy guy. Have you two connected at any point during your recruitment process?
Yeah, I'd say when I first got down to Miami for my first visit down there, I spent a lot of time with him. I talked to Cristobal with him, Addai with him, and I spent pretty much a couple hours with him. He showed me around campus, told me everything he loved about the staff, campus, just everything about the life in Miami. And honestly, like he was probably a good influence in my decision.
Well, it's good to hear that Akeem gets the assist on that recruitment. And talk a little bit more about that, Isaiah. So Isaiah Thomas is he's a University of Miami verbal commit for the class of 2024, a player that we really like. What else was it about Miami? Like during your recruitment process, what made you decide this is where I want to take my talents?
Yeah, so for me, in terms of like choosing school, I really didn't know what to expect out of schools. Like I was trying to find like some perfect school and best fit, best scheme, great relationship, great staff, and great everything. And Miami checked off every box. And once I realized that, like it was just a go from there.
Oh, I love to hear that. Well, what about the coaches that were factors in your recruitment? Talk about, and if I leave out any names, let me know, from Coach Addai with the defensive backs, Lance Guidry, who I know is very involved with the safeties at Miami, and he's the defensive coordinator, and and of course Mario Cristobal. What was it like interacting with these guys throughout the process?
Yeah, so I would say my first interaction with Coach Addai was really good. Realizing that he was of the same background that I was, grew up similar to how I grew up. Our fathers are both from West Africa, Ghana, and that really hit it off at first. And then from a football standpoint, like I was able to watch him practice and see how good he was in practice. That was big for me. And also after that, I was able to watch a little film with him, watch practice with him, see how he operates, see how he coaches, and he's a great coach. He's definitely one of the top defensive back coaches in the country. And I would say my first conversation with Coach Guidry was really good. He's very knowledgeable and he's very technical, which is great for me. And he plays a very similar system to what I play here at Clearwater Academy in terms of 5 DBs, right? And he's very exotic. He likes to blitz. He likes to run everything. So that was good for me. That was great for me.
Now, what kind of a role do you see yourself playing in Miami's defense? Because you're primarily strong safety or star backer. So what kind of a niche do you think you're going to fill in Guidry's D?
Yeah, so Coach Guidry and I have this plan for me to be able to excel anywhere in the field and be able to excel, honestly, in every position. Like, he can put me anywhere. I think I'll primarily be a strong safety, but if I'm being honest, I think he'll be able to move me around to nickel, corner, high safety, anywhere I can be effective and switch around our defense. Honestly, that's just where I want to be, and that's where he sees me.
I love it. We're talking with Isaiah Thomas, Miami Hurricanes verbal commit for the class of 2024. Isaiah, when you were able to make that announcement and when you come to that decision that Miami was the place for you, what was that like for you and your family to be able to make that announcement? And then you start hearing, of course, from a lot of Canes fans are probably going
Yeah.
crazy in your mentions. What was all that like for you?
If I'm being honest, I actually made that decision in the Florida State parking lot. Um,
Wow.
I had just finished coming back from my Florida State visit. I was with my teammates, Lucas Simmons, who's over there at Florida State, and Coach Addai had called me and told me that they were about to have Dylan commit. Dylan's a great player as well, and just him telling me that, like, showed like how much respect he had for me as a person and as a player. And after that, I was like, you know what, what am I doing going on these visits? Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I want to shut it all down. It's time to commit. I'm very happy with who's here and what I can do here. It's just time. Like, there's no point in moving forward.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's something I wonder if, in a couple years or next year when you're at Miami, if that soundbite's going to get recycled for Miami versus Florida State week, because that's a big
Right.
rivalry, Isaiah, as you know,
It
playing
is.
football down here in the state.
It is. I know. Trust me, I know.
Oh man. Well, I want to talk a little bit more shop with Isaiah about his high school football career and a little bit more of his vision with Miami. So keep it locked right here, guys. We're only getting started with Miami Hurricanes verbal commit Isaiah Thomas on Locked On Canes. And guys, I am only getting started with Built Bars. You know that I'm all over this. If you're looking for a delicious snack, but you don't want all the sugar and calories, you need the best tasting protein bar ever built. You got to try this. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. Seriously, they taste so amazing. You're not going to think that they're good for you, but you got to try this. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real dark chocolate, and they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, cookies, and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better, yeah, they're healthy. Only 130 calories, just 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can also get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club, while you still get your specialty flavors at Built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today. Walk into the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built Bars. If you're close to a Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box, and you'll thank me later because I love me some Built Bars. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. And for the everydayers, I know you guys love hearing from Miami Hurricanes recruits, commits, players. Isaiah Thomas is with us now, class of 2024 safety. So Isaiah, are you building some community with the other Canes verbal commits? Because we've talked with Judd Anderson before. I know the group chat is a big thing. Do you start to feel like these guys are kind of your teammates already?
Judd does a great job making guys feel included. That's for sure. He's actually an amazing guy. He's all in. Like, he's no joke when it comes to this stuff like that. And I've talked to some guys already. I definitely got to get in. I definitely got to get in contact with some other guys. In terms of that. But right now we're all pretty good.
I love to hear that. And do you kind of do you feel, because I know Judd does this so much, like do you ever find yourself like trying to recruit others as well, like
Yeah,
undecided players in the class of 2024? Maybe you get on
yeah,
social media, you try to nudge them in Miami's direction.
yeah. So right now I have my teammate Sean Savillano. He's announcing his decision on Friday, and he has the Canes in the top four. I'm trying to play my part, and then I have my roommate Jason Zandamela, four star center. He also has the Canes in the top five, and he announces July 6th. So I'm definitely trying to influence them as well, try to get them down here. That's just my role right now.
I love it. I love it. And so, and you make me think about when you bring up Zandamela, I think about the fact that, the head coach is a former offensive lineman. He spends so much time with that unit. Like in your case,
Yeah.
the defensive coordinator is a former safeties coach and a safeties coach at heart. Does that kind of add something to you, knowing that Lance Guidry is always going to run a very safety friendly defense?
Oh yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. Because Coach Guidry wants us to all excel. Like, he he's a safety guy, and he knows what it takes to play safety, and he knows that safety is not just going back there and playing high. You got to be everywhere. Safety is the hybrid position between a linebacker and a corner. So you got to excel in all of it. And I'm really happy that he's so technical.
We're talking with Isaiah Thomas, who's nice enough to join us between flights. He's flying back home to Canada. And you mentioned Clearwater Academy International, which is an international hub. How did you end up at CAI? Like, how did you, growing up in Canada, how did you, find your way to Florida and Clearwater to play football?
Yeah, so they actually discovered me when I was in about eighth grade, back down in Toronto. My family first heard about them because one of my close family friends, uh, Wesley Bailey, he actually went there to CAI. He actually goes to Rutgers now, and like my father and my trainer Mike Roberts have always been in contact with Coach Jesse, and it was just a matter of time of when I get down there. Like I was like Coach Jesse wanted me down there when I was in about ninth grade, but I was too young to go off on my own and move from Toronto to Florida by myself. So we just waited until my junior year.
I know some Canadians who are big NFL fans, but how big is the CFL up there? Like, did you have a CFL team growing up, or were you more of an NFL guy?
No, I was more of a college guy. I don't have
Ah,
a favorite NFL team. I don't have a favorite CFL team. I was never really involved with the CFL like that. Like in terms of like my goal, like it's always been a one track mind. It's always been a here and here in the States, football in the States, and NFL. It's never been a CFL thing.
that's awesome. And when you did come down to CAI, I'm sure the competition level changed a little bit. Did it take you a little while to get acclimated? I'm sure for a great player like yourself, you were probably happy to have that sort of competition. But what was that transition like for you?
See, my transition was pretty much. I would say it was fairly easy. I played at a school last year up in Canada that traveled down to the States to play games. So all my games were in the States. I played guys like Caleb Spencer at Lake Christian.
Oh,
I
wow.
played Jalil. I played Jalil Skinner at IMG. Like I played a lot of teams down here, and I was able to adjust to the speed of the game down here. So, my first game down here against I was Miami Palmetto against Robbie Washington and Bobby and them, and that game was fairly easy to me. Like that was a really good game for me. You know I was able to keep up with the speed of the game and just fly around.
That's funny playing against so many guys who are now on Miami's roster, or like Caleb, who just, yeah, he is on Miami's roster now. I watched him play spring, but he came in class of 2023. Have you reconnected with any of these guys since you committed to Miami?
No, not really, not really. I haven't been able to get in contact with guys. I'll probably get in contact with them, around like official visit time, but I haven't really got in contact with them yet.
We hear so many stories about, Mario Cristobal as a recruiter, and obviously covering him from the media side. I don't really get to see him in action when he's recruiting. What's he like in that environment? Because I always hear, Isaiah, the word that I hear so much is honesty. And you talked about Guidry with that frank conversation you had on the phone with him. But what's Mario like as a recruiter?
So Coach Mario is, if I'm being honest, like when I say honesty, like I mean like he'll show you who he is, and he's a hard coach. He's a tough coach. He's been on all levels of coaching. So when I tell you like we get like you see him in practice, he's locked in. He's serious. After practice, he's an amazing guy. Amazing father, husband, everything. He's an amazing role model in general, and he'll just be real with you. He'll tell you what it is, and he'll tell you that he can get you there. 'Cause, he's done it before. At Oregon, he did a great job at Oregon. So I have no doubt in his recruiting style. And if I'm being honest, yeah, it's just honesty. Like he's honest, he's fair, and he builds a great relationship. He builds a great relationship with the guys that he's recruiting.
Now, you mentioned, growing up more of a college football fan than you were a pro football fan. In terms
Right.
of Miami, do you have a favorite Miami Hurricanes player from the past?
Yeah, Ed Reed. Ed Reed, because I think
Yeah.
that's my dad's favorite safety ever growing up watching. So for him, my dad was a big Miami Hurricanes fan, like growing up. His favorite player was Ed Reed. He always wanted me to hit like Ed Reed, run like Ed Reed. fly around like Ed Reed, so I'd say Ed Reed.
Dude, that is awesome. And watching you play in the film I've been able to watch, really, really strong tackler. I think that's something Hurricanes fans are going to appreciate. And you seem to have a nose for making plays when it comes to forcing fumbles, grabbing interceptions. Can you let the Canes fans know a little bit more about what they can expect from Isaiah Thomas on the field?
See, I would say Canes fans are definitely going to see more of me. They're they're definitely going to see more of an aggressive style play. Like I don't mess around. Like I want to be all over the field. I want to be around the ball. I don't want to slack. I only played 5 games last year. I would say for me I would say that's like a sneak peek for everybody because I wasn't able to finish up like the rest of the 6 games that I was supposed to play. And some people may doubt, but if I'm being honest, like I'm gonna fly around. I'm gonna make plays no matter where. I'm gonna be the strongest. I'm gonna be the strongest on the field. I'm gonna be the fastest on the field. I'm gonna be everything on the field. I'm gonna make my impact felt on the field at all times.
You mentioned only playing 5 games last year. Your junior season was cut short with a knee injury. How are you now, and how's the recovery gone?
The recovery is going really, really well. I'm definitely ahead of schedule. I've been ahead of schedule for a long time now. Right after the surgery, I was walking. I wasn't on any crutches. Right now, I'm going back home on a six a week day schedule, where I train 6 days a week, and I'm running, cutting, and I'm basically doing everything. It's just a matter of controlling my reps now. If I'm being honest, I'm doing everything.
Now, when you spend a lot of time, obviously, away from your hometown of Toronto. So when you're able to go home, what's the comfort food up there? Like, what's the first thing you eat when you get back home?
The comfort food. The first thing I do is I go to Tim Hortons. That's me right there.
Yes, you get the Timbits.
Yes, that's of course. See, I think Tim Hortons. I think the comparison from Tim Hortons to down here in the States is what Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I
I'm,
think
I'm like
so.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. I've never actually had Dunkin' Donuts down here. But yeah, first thing I do is go to Tim Hortons. That's an automatic thing that I have to do. Honestly.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Do you have? I know it's more of a Quebec thing. In Toronto? Do they eat a lot of poutine up there? Because I've had that. I've never been to Toronto, but I've had that in Canada before.
See, yeah, I say everywhere in Canada eats a lot of poutine. I'm not a poutine fan, if I'm being honest. I think it's nasty. Um, it's fries, cheese curds, and gravy. That's just not me, if I'm being honest.
I feel like it's probably the worst food for an athlete. Like for someone like
Yeah,
yourself, you're trying to reach
yeah,
the highest level of
exactly,
football. And if you were eating poutine, you'd weigh 250 pounds and you couldn't run the way that you
exactly.
do.
Yeah, exactly my point. It's just not healthy whatsoever.
It's probably the least healthy food out there. Well, listen, Isaiah Thomas, I appreciate you taking the time, and you got a lot of fans out there in our audience, and we can't wait to see, players like yourself and Dylan Day really bring that Miami defensive secondary back. And I know you're going to be watching Canes games coming up this season intently. How much better do you think Miami's going to be this year? Last season was a tough one for everybody. What are your expectations for 2023 coming up before you arrive
If
in
I'm
2024?
if I'm being honest, the way I see it right now, I feel like we'll make a big jump this year, and that's one of the reasons why I committed, because I felt like this coaching staff could definitely take us over the hump. Um, Guidry, Addai, Cristobal, Mirabal, all those guys are definitely going to do great this year, and I definitely see us winning a bowl game this year. No doubt about that. I definitely see us, jumping out to having a great, amazing start to the season. And it being difficult. We definitely have some difficult games, but I feel like we can get over it. We can get through it.
You guys want to follow this man on Twitter at I am Zay Thomas, and make sure you show him some love on social media. Safe travels, Isaiah, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
I love it. That was fantastic. And for the everydayers, guys, make sure if you want to take your everydayer experience to the next level, you want to join our exclusive SMS texting service through Subtext here. We include the link in the show description below. We will talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.